give them hell. My fears saying I need a break. The foot I put on neck saying keep the pace. Smile say I'm good, but stomach say I ain't eating days. Mom saying dream bigger, son, you need a lake. Pop saying save your penny, son, you need a place. My friends saying keep it pimpin' blood, you need a race. My fam starting this tradition now of being safe. My ex picking now to tell me how she want a space. She be stressed if I ain't text her every couple days. She ain't special, ain't no pressure when you run the game. Another extra in my section when I'm up at Dre's. Talk to me nicely, walk through is pricey. Till my mom's in the hills and Lil bro them icy. Jesus hand on the wheel, it feels like a vice grip. If I ain't give you the chills, I feel there's alright this. My brother wears heart on his sleeve. His only motivation now is loving to see. We at Cuzzo graduation, manifesting our dreams. As I write the homie Lock, who should've played in the league. Man, it's hard being the woke one. The only one scoring get ball to me when I'm open. They guarded me and I'm stroking from hard and deep in the ocean. This dream take guts, heart, arteries, and devotion. Swear to God, yo, count up my bad days, combat my past ways. Cause sometimes my pride just wanna leave me alone. Cause home don't even feel like how we used to feel, dog. For real, Father Time just wanna leave me alone. Come on. Shorty got your seed now, Daddy put the streets down. But meanwhile, my side chicks won't leave me alone. Let's go. Someone keep it real with me, follow up and build. Yeah. Put the steel down, the vibe just won't leave me alone.
KBLA Talk 1580. That right there, that's Miles Lowe. That's that guy right over there. Yeah, if you on YouTube, you can see him always working in the background. He never stops. Miles Lowe Music is where you can find it. That is the classic Miles Lowe, AFC North. The new EP is out now. And what's the name of the EP? I forgot the name. I love the song No Place Like Home.
Yeah, No Place Like Home. It's the name of the project.
Oh, that's the whole project.
Yeah, man.
Okay. I see your videos. I see you on Instagram. I see you. Good music, good things. Lots of shows. You got a show next weekend?
I got an event in Vegas next weekend. I host the hip-hop rap battles, the cookout rap battles in Vegas. So I'm going to be out there doing my thing. So, yeah, I do it every month. But, yeah, Miles Lowe Music, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Koji, TikTok, all that good stuff.
You know, we talk about recycling black dollars. Dr. Rosie Milligan put us all on notice about investing in businesses and marketing and promoting. Here's a young businessman who's also one of the pillars of this here radio station, Mr. Miles Lowe, very talented rap artist. Let's show some love and put our streams where our mouth is or where our ears are or whatever that is, Miles Lowe Music. And, yeah. Follow and like me, too, by the way, while you're at it. I'm DiPrima Radio, D-I-P-R-I-M-A. Can't even spell my name. D-I-P-R-I-M-A. And then radio on all the platforms. Even my YouTube is now DiPrima Radio. What? Upgrade. Except for Facebook, which is First Things First with Dominique DiPrima. And, of course, follow KBLA. We are everywhere. KBLA 1580. Get the app. If you missed a show, you can hear it on the app. You can also hear it wherever you get your podcasts. And so, yeah, good stuff. We're doing business. We got things happening. In fact, what was it? KBLA.store. You can, speaking of ways to support KBLA, go buy some things, right? Did I say it wrong, Miles?
The website?
All the online merch for KBLA.
I believe it's KBLA.store.
Yeah, KBLA.store. That's what I think too. Anyway, the T-shirts are there.
Yeah, KBLA.store.
Yeah, all the stuff is there that you've been asking for. So, hey, support your local Black-owned business, starting with this one. And on that note of recycling black dollars, I'm happy to introduce for our Daily Deep Dive, the co-founder of Black and Bold Specialty Beverages. He's the co-founder and chief values officer of Black and Bold, a specialty coffee and tea company that is also a social impact firm. 5% for our youth program. That's what they use to donate, that 5% of their profits to young people in need locally and nationally. So far, that's $100,000 donated. And I am pleased to welcome for the first time to KBLA, Rod Johnson. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I am great. I am refreshed because we are communicating in an old-fashioned way over the phone as opposed to Zoom. So this is a breath of fresh air.
It's funny because people always ask me, what's the Zoom link? What's the Zoom link? It's radio. There is no Zoom link. Pick up your phone and call, or get your butt in here and sit in the studio so we can see you on YouTube. Those are your options. Unless you're the queen, Ariva Martin. She does everything on Zoom. But for the rest of us, we like audio and telephones. Yes, telephone's an option. So congratulations on, a very successful venture. And there's always more to it than meets the eye. I wanted to talk to you because this is a company that has so many layers to it. First, explain to me what is Black and Bold and why socially innovative. I think socially innovative businesses are becoming more and more popular. I also think that we were just talking about the Chris Rock special, and one of the things he blasts is exactly that. He thinks that corporations shouldn't be woke. Don't give 5% to the youth. Give me the discount. But yet, a lot of polling shows that the public, people like me, prefer socially innovative businesses. We like to know that we're buying things that are helping others. And so talk to me about Black and Bold and why socially innovative? Why make giving back a built-in part of your company charter?
Absolutely. Well, Black and Bold ultimately is a coffee roastery that's located in the middle of America, in Des Moines, Iowa, with the intent to connect people's passion and affinity for their daily beverages to your point, greater societal needs. So ultimately, we give a portion of our proceeds back to organizations that help youth in need, because that, as you mentioned, is on the rise. This idea of conscious consumerism, people actually caring about where their dollars are going, is imperative and ever present in their shopping habits. So we want to meet people where they are and bridge the gap between their daily rituals and the things that matters to them the most.
So, what does that mean? How does it look? We always talk about giving back, and it's sort of this airy-fairy, like kind of, an idea. But talk to me about how that's part of the foundation of your company in a real concrete way.
Absolutely. So, Pernell and I, my business partner, we grew up in Gary, Indiana. That's about 30 minutes outside of Chicago, and it is notorious for a lot of reasons. One of which that's not so fortunate is it just being ill-resourced. At one point, it was the epicenter for the steel industry, and when those jobs were shipped overseas, it left the community to fend for itself. And people get creative with how they make a means and make a living. And fortunate for us, while we were faced with those challenges, we were able to overcome them and wanted to make sure that we provide resources back to the organizations that are in those communities doing the best that they can, being as scrappy as they can, to provide an outlet for kids. We wanted to resource them as tangibly as possible. So we built that within our business so that as our company grows, so does the impact that we're able to make on these organizations. When we were vetting out the organizations and just this idea of giving back to the communities of our consumers, we wanted to spread our resources across many different disciplines. It wasn't focusing on one singular area. It was, let's pour into the full need and the full development of today's youth. So you'll see the organizations that we support include those that focus on conservation or supplying kids with technology, refurbished laptops and tablets so that they can access information, teaching kids the importance of healthy eating by way of urban farming or representation through mentorship. The goal was to pour into the people that are already doing the work and, again, connecting it to something that people do every day, which is drink cups of coffee. In fact, coffee is the second most consumed beverage in America. So by making it more convenient for people to give back, we've seen that has resonated with with people since the beginning of our business.
Talking with Rod Johnson of Black and Bold. If you're bold enough to ask him a question, 800-920-1580. I'm Dominique DiPrima, and you're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
The station you turn to when you've had it up to here with cultural incompetence. KBLA Talk 1580. KBLA Talk 1580 celebrates Women's History Month, sponsored by Walmart. As we celebrate Women's History Month this month, KBLA Talk 1580 would like to spotlight women leaders in our community who are creating positive change. If you or someone you know is making a difference in your community, please nominate them with a 50-word or less post on why you feel they should be included in the KBLA Women's Series, sponsored by Walmart. These women leaders will be featured on KBLA, interviewed on KBLA, and participate in a panel discussion hosted by Reva Martin in real time. Visit the KBLA app or log on to KBLA1580.com to nominate a woman in your community that is creating positive change. This has been a KBLA Talk 1580 community call to action. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, Maisha Cairo here, KBLA, live at Chase Bank on Crenshaw and Vernon for the In This Together tour with female business owners, a day of empowerment, community panels, and best of all, tips on building business from marketing to capital. I was able to speak with one of the panelists, the owner of Kids Love. Take a listen.
So Kids Love, KIDSLUV, is a first-to-market zero-sugar, vitamin-enhanced functional beverage for kids.
So the zero sugar is really important because if not, the sugar gets on the teeth, it can cause cavities. So as a mom, I love this vitamins and hydration in one. Tell us what's happening here with Chase Bank today.
So I would say, I think what Chase is trying to do is create a community actually for entrepreneurs, a place where people can go. They have the space to do it. It's a beautiful space. And to be able to have these conversations. There are so many benefits to being a women-owned and certified business, from a standpoint of getting into stores, not paying the slotting fees of what it takes to be in stores. So I think Chase is trying to bring awareness to a lot of the things that people just don't know about, that not only the bank can help, but outside of the bank, their relationships can help create.
That's beautiful. And I know, this is how we build equity in communities of color, is kind of spreading that information and that knowledge. So thank you for being here today and doing your part and letting these women know that it is possible.
For KBLA 1580, I'm Maisha Cairo in the community with Chase.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 85% water, right?
85% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients. Don't pay for water, pay for clean.
Save $10 when you spend $30 on Tide and Downy. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent. Must buy at least one participating Tide or Dreft detergent item, plus at least one participating Downy and or Bounce scent booster, liquid fabric softener, or dryer sheets. Prepaid card by mail. Visit pglaundryrebate.com for terms and conditions.
Get this. Kohl's has spring must-haves for under $10. So I had to do some serious shopping. To prep for warmer weather, I got a few tank tops for myself. Fresh tees for my husband. Plus, I found some towels to give my bathroom a little refresh. And earned Kohl's Cash on everything. Hello, spring, and hello, savings. Select styles. Offers end March 19th. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
I do appreciate you waking up with me all the times that you do, and you're always welcome to join 800-920-1580. We're talking with Rod Johnson. He's one of the co-founders of Black and Bold Coffee and Tea, which is a socially innovative company. We're talking about that, and I want to delve more into your business and secrets to your success. But I want to know, I mentioned in the beginning of this interview the commentary that Chris Rock has where he says, $200 of every car will go to support this. And he's like, no, I don't want my companies woke. I want you to just give me the car $200 cheaper. He goes in on businesses saying businesses should not be socially innovative, and he's tired of woke businesses. And what do you say to people who have that attitude? Rod, are you there?
Sorry about that. I put the phone on mute. What I was saying is one, I believe that Chris Rock is a comedic genius, and he has the license to express his opinions as freely and as funny as he wants. What I would recommend to him is to find the businesses that more align with his values. There is a community of people that actually care about what the businesses do with the profits that they make. Are they reciprocating it back into the community? I've heard you say a couple of times referencing recycling the black dollar, and I forget exactly what the percentage is or what the time the black dollar is spent in our community, but we exist for those that actually care about that reciprocity, so to speak. So the beautiful aspect of America is that it's a free market, and you are able to shop with whoever, again, most closely aligns with your values. We exist for those that want to do good in their communities.
Okay, that works. So now, where you guys love coffee and tea, obviously. A lot of businesses, I always say, they start from a side hustle or a personal preference. It sounds like yours started out of love. And so talk to me about the journey. I mean, you guys are now a top seller on Amazon since you got on the platform. Your company has only been around since 2018, but you are already doing quite well in terms of, your sales and such. Tell me about the journey.
Yeah, the journey started with, a hybrid of both of those options, a love for the product, as well as the desire to do something different than running on the hamster wheel, the proverbial hamster wheel that is of the 9 to 5. And no shade to those that are on the grind. It just wasn't something that was satisfying for me, and that propelled me to pursue other options. And I figured that if I was going to do something that was risky, both with I wanted to make sure that I brought the community along, the community that I care about, alongside with me. So to your point about it being rooted in love, it was love for the products and love for our community. And again, that clearly filled a void, as we have gotten a great reception since our inception back in 2018, not only digitally, but in stores as well. When we think about being the first nationally distributed Black-owned coffee company that comes by way of our partnerships with Target and Albertsons and other retailers that provide access points to our brand to those that want to shop their value, so to speak. So ultimately, it has been a fulfilling journey, not one without any bumps and bruises and obstacles along the way, but it's promising nonetheless.
So we can find Black and Bold at Target and Albertsons now?
Absolutely, yes. We have. We were awarded national distribution now, I guess about 3 years ago, and have been in the market and, again, providing that option to consumers that are a bit more conscious in their spending habits.
You know what? Earlier in the show, when you weren't on yet, I was talking with Rosie Milligan. She's a business advocate, and we were talking about how a lot of companies, small businesses, especially Black-owned businesses and other BIPOC-owned businesses, that's where we fall, is scaling up, right? You want to have a big, huge, profitable company, but we don't have capacity. So tell me, how did you guys get ready? How were you able to, most companies, I sell my pies or I have an invention, but if Albertsons calls me tomorrow and wants to be in stores all over the country, I may not have the capacity to even make that money when it's offered to me.
Absolutely. We have grown our business organically. We now occupy a 30,000 square foot facility, but it certainly didn't start this way. We started in my friend's garage with a tabletop roaster that was producing a pound of beans every 15 minutes. But that allowed us to hone in on our recipes and really make sure that we had a quality product, so that when we were looking to scale to some commercial equipment, that consistency remained true. Ways that we were able to answer some of those questions on how will we be ready when the bell is rung? A lot of organic research by way of YouTube and cold calls. Asking the industry leaders and anyone who would take our phone call at that time, what is necessary for us to consider as we want to grow and scale our business. So when we were awarded our national distribution, it wasn't the first time that we were approached, but at that point we were ready because we had pressure tested essentially what it would take to meet that moment when it was presented to us.
What does that look like, though? I mean, you know, your background, as you said, is not necessarily hardcore business, right? You're coming from healthcare and other backgrounds. How do you even get the business skills? I mean, yes, okay, so you learned how to make a lot of coffee. You figured out how to get the machines, but what about distribution and the business infrastructure and, all of the things that go with having a big company?
Absolutely. I don't run this business by myself, fortunately. I don't know what I would do if I were a sole proprietor. I'm fortunate to have a friend, a lifelong friend of 20 years who also happens to be pretty darn business savvy. If you peel back to the layers of our business, you'll see our respective skill sets on full display. So you referenced that I have a background in healthcare, but it's more so related to fundraising and providing resources for these institutions to provide services and other resources for the constituents that they can serve. While my business partner worked in corporate America and focused a lot on retail merchandising and small brand business development. So while I am responsible for making sure we show up as who we are wherever we are, the chief values officer, and really owning the social impact aspect of our business, my business partner has been maneuvering and navigating us through the business world as it pertains to securing distribution and protecting that retail shelf space.
And that's a lot of retail shelf space. I mean, at this point, as you just pointed out, you're in quite a few, Albertsons, Walgreens, Target, ShopRite, all kinds of places, 7,000 to be exact. So that's one way to go, right? Team up with someone who has that expertise. It seems like you didn't cut corners, though. Like all of this stuff, fair trade. What does that mean? A lot of folks are just like, let me just trade. I can't worry about whether it's fair. What does that mean? It seems to be something that we hear especially talked about when it comes to coffee.
Yeah, I do want to, yes, certainly will answer that. But I wanted to dovetail a little bit more on what I was saying before. Our approach to this was very intentional because we wanted to provide access points. And I think that our distribution is representative of retailers that are really putting their money where their mouth is, so to speak, in the sense of responding to the needs of their consumers and the demands and the requests of their consumers. And they're partnering with businesses that represent those values. As you talk about fair trade is essentially making sure that everyone in the supply chain, from the producers to the importers, that they are paid a fair wage for the services and the products that they provide. Doing everything that we can to make sure that we are being equitable to those that help in providing black and bold to the masses. In addition to that, we are a B Corp certification, ultimately a third-party organization certifies companies that prioritize purpose as much as profit, those that take care of their stakeholders as much of their shareholders. And really having that certification does resonate again with those that care about it.
Okay, so let's circle back to, we've only got a couple minutes before news, traffic, and sports, but let's at least start the conversation about fair trade. What does it mean, and why is it so important for coffee?
Yeah, I mean, coffee is produced in countries that are that rely on that as its main export. And so to make sure that we are, again, being equitable in those relationships and paying a fair wage and a fair price, essentially, for those products is hugely a priority for us.
Yeah. And, it's true when you talk about coffee, a lot of the places you see Africa, you see Latin America, lots of places where exploitation is a corporate tradition. And so, I think we see that and we don't really know what it means, but it's especially, I would think, especially important for a Black-owned company when doing business with folks that are often exploited.
Yeah, being ethical and equitable are our North Stars, so to speak. It is important for us that we're good partners to everyone that we do business with. Again, from the communities of our consumers to the producers of the products that we sell and everyone in between. We feel like we have an obligation to do that. That's why we started this business, and it'll be the practice that we continue to embody now and in perpetuity.
Talking with Rod Johnson, you are welcome to join the conversation. 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. Black and Bold, Black-owned coffee company, sustainable, single serve. Talk about what that means. And it's kind of a in counter to a trend. Y'all know what I'm talking about, you drinking them coffee cartridges. That's next and more when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. A famous civil rights lawyer is now working for the family of a man who died while in custody of Virginia deputies. Erbo Anieno's family has hired Ben Kropp after 7 Henrico County deputies were charged this week with second-degree murder of Anieno's death. The 28-year-old Black man died last week of asphyxiation after deputies brought him into a hospital. Kropp says the way that he died sounds familiar to how George Floyd died in Minnesota. Deaths of women who were pregnant or had recently given birth spiked in 2021. A new report from the CDC shows more than 1,200 people died of maternal causes in 2021, a 40% jump over the year before. These were deaths that happened during pregnancy or within 6 weeks after delivery. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. If you're like many people, you may think custom blinds is a job for expensive professionals. Well, at Blindster, if you have a tape measure and a screwdriver, you can install our custom blinds and save big. Plus, we guarantee they'll fit. Blindster.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Steph Curry dropped 50 on the Clippers last night, but the Clippers beat Golden State by 8. 4 straight win for the Clippers. The Lakers lose by 4 in Houston. Howard University is now the only HBCU school in the NCAA men's basketball tournament. Texas Southern lost by 23 to Farley Dickinson in the play-in round. Howard plays number 1 Kansas today at 11 a.m. in Columbus, Ohio. Live coverage on TBS. UCLA opens up tonight at 7 against UNC Asheville in Sacramento. That game is on True TV. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. This sports report was brought to you by Original Taco Pete's.
Aaron at Original Taco Pete's. Come in today for our tasty seasoned black taco. We're at 3272 West Slauson off Crenshaw, or call 323-348-4441.
Need legal help? Attorney Jovan Blacknell is an aggressive trial attorney specializing in criminal defense and civil litigation. Look no further than the law office of Jovan Blacknell. From personal injury to criminal defense, Jovan Blacknell has the knowledge to protect your rights. The law office of Jovan Blacknell understands the stress and anxiety that come with legal issues. That's why the law office of Jovan Blacknell supports the right to a fair trial. For Los Angeles Council member Mark Ridley Thomas, are you facing a legal battle? Log on to fightforjustice.com. Don't go through it alone. Let the law office of Jovan Blacknell fight for your rights. Log on to fightforjustice.com. Let the law office of Jovan Blacknell take the worry and stress out of your case. Call 310-469-9117 today for a free consultation. That's 310-469-9117 or log on to fightforjustice.com. Law office of Jovan Blacknell, where experience and dedication make the difference.
Thanks to our new sponsor, Lendistry. Lendistry is a national Black-led small business lender that is headquartered in Los Angeles. Lendistry helps small business owners access the affordable capital needed to grow. Visit Lendistry, LENDISTRY.com/KBLA today.
Our Weekly Los Angeles is the largest audited Black newspaper in the state of California with a distribution of over 50,000 copies weekly. Pick up a copy every Thursday to get the latest news on African American communities of LA. You can also keep up with what's going on in Los Angeles and surrounding cities by going to www.ourweekly.com. The Our Weekly website is updated daily with the current news about us and for us. For your advertising needs, Our Weekly offers economical advertising packages to fit your budget. Feel free to call Our Weekly Los Angeles at 323-905-1300 or visit the website at www.ourweekly.com. Our Weekly Los Angeles, reporting news that matters to you.
All I really want is to be happy.
KBLA Talk 1580 joins you in celebrating Women's History Month. I'm Dominique DiPrima. Join me and Black Lives Matter Los Angeles for a reclamation in honor of Breonna Taylor. It's called Black Women Are Divine. There'll be food, music, performances, and healing services, all free. It's a space for Black women, girls, and femmes to receive love and healing, and for others to express their appreciation. Many of the 26 BLM grassroots chapters across the nation are participating in this honoring of the memory of Breonna Taylor on the anniversary of her death. It's taking place on Saturday, March 18th from noon to 4 p.m. at Norman Houston Park, 4800 South La Brea in Los Angeles. It's the park at the summit. For special parking options and more information, visit blmla.org. That's blmla.org. Celebrate Women's History Month with Black Lives Matter Los Angeles and all of us at KBLA Talk 1580.
Gotta stay fresh, my house shot with a rest bar, shot with a rest bar, shot with a rest bar.
Have you visited us online for the grand opening of KBLA.store? For the best in new merch, gift ideas, books, media, and more, log on to KBLA.store. Be sure to check out our KBLA team favorites at KBLA.store today. That's KBLA.store for all the official merch on your favorite talk radio station, KBLA Talk 1580.
The bounce is back.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where hate loses and love wins.
And love stays winning. I guess that's kind of the whole point of a B Corp, a socially innovative or conscious corporation. Rod Johnson is joining us. He's one of the founders of Black and Bold Coffee and Tea. The name is Black and Bold. Did you get any pushback on that? Is that a little too black and a little too bold? Did people tell you? I mean, I feel like if it was a movie, people would say, "Oh, well, you're limiting your appeal, your demographic, blah blah blah." Did you get any of that from distributors or stores or whatever? You're too black and too bold. Can you be like multicultural and strong instead of black and bold?
Yeah. Right. Fortunately, we did not. Not from retailers, not from any of our distributors. The pushback that we get about our name comes from people who likely aren't going to be our customers anyway. Our customer service inbox is littered with people who are offended that we're named Black and Bold. And it's a double entendre, right? It represents literally on the surface, the products, right? Black coffee, black tea, bold taste. And of course, it represents us, and it has more of a meaning to the foundation and the mantra of what we're trying to get people to embody. So yeah, we understand that it may not be for everybody, but it baffles me that people are offended. There are a lot of people who are like, what if I made a company called White and Strong, or some type of equivalent to denote sense of having like white pride, but that just doesn't have the same substance or the same resonance. So my response typically to those people is, go for it. And if this isn't for you, there are thousands of other brands that you can choose from. That's the benefit, one of many benefits of being a commodity.
I guess that's part of being black and bold. But, it's funny because we do get that message. You got to appeal to the most customers possible. You have to be general market, mainstream, blah, blah, blah. Black consumers are not enough to carry a product, so and so and such and such. And then the false equivalency, I think. I hadn't even thought about that. People saying, what if it was white and wild? Or, whites only coffee. Of course, it doesn't say blacks only. It says black and bold. But you just ignore those. They don't faze you at all. Doesn't worry you from a business standpoint or political standpoint or a personal viewpoint?
Not at all, right? Because to have pride in oneself and one's culture is not to denounce or be excluding or exiling anyone else. This is the equivalent of in the spirit of tomorrow's holiday, kiss me, I'm Irish, right? No one gets mad when people have those type of shirts, and this is our version of that. This is us being proud of who we are, proud of our history, proud of the promise that is to come, and it is, again, not to make anyone else insecure or inferior whatsoever.
Okay. Well, I couldn't agree with you more, but I just think, so many times in business, it's always about just the common denominator, and that denominator being the dollar at all costs. You've teamed up with another B Corp called Steeped Coffee, and you're going to be doing single serving coffee. And I think it's interesting because we talk about single serving coffee is all the rage. Everybody has those machines with the little plastic thing that you stick it in the thing and the water goes through and now you have coffee. And that's a lot of plastic, right?
Yes. I know exactly what you're referring to.
Yeah. So, but your single serving is meant to be a little different.
Yeah, so we partnered with Steeped Coffee actually back in 2020 once we got wind of their fully compostable single-serve coffee pouches. It's basically like having a specialty cup of coffee on the go, and all you need to do is add hot water. It was super attractive to us because of that convenience, because we hadn't seen that in the market, or at least not scaled to what we think is its possibility, and the fact that it is environmentally friendly. So that's a partnership that we're really, really excited about. And again, when we kind of the theme that I've been discussing has been shopping your values, as we want to be equitable to the earth and making sure that we're treating Mother Earth with kindness. This is a product that will help people do just that.
But is it instant coffee? Because instant coffee is nasty. Sorry.
No. It's not instant coffee whatsoever. Essentially, it's like a tea bag, if you will. That is. It's like a bag of chips. It's nitro sealed so that it retains its freshness, right? As opposed to instant coffees that are out there that have more of that bland, that less robust taste. So Steeped Coffee, again, is more so like a French press cup of coffee, similar to what you would get in your local coffee shop. You just don't necessarily have to wait in the long lines.
I gotcha. So because that's good, because sustainable means no single-use plastic. It means less waste, but you still get the convenience of that one serving of coffee. I'm not a huge coffee drinker because I get too hyper. I'll drink one black and bold and I'll be like hyper for a week. But I drink a lot of tea. Talk to me about the tea thing.
Yeah, similar to you, I didn't drink coffee prior to starting this business. I only thought of coffee as something my grandparents drank. I remember them getting coffee out of the red can off the back of the stove and reading the comic books in the morning. So that was my association of coffee. And then as I grew up, it became the caramel latte frappe with the whipped cream and the drizzle, right? It became a whole experience.
Mm-hmm.
And so my interpretation or perception of coffee wasn't one that is akin to wine, essentially. And my friend, once asked me, did I drink coffee? And my response was vehemently, absolutely not. And he recommended that I go buy a particular brand. I don't remember what it is at this time, and instructed me how to brew it. And at that moment, I understood why people appreciated coffee. But prior to that, I was more of a tea drinker, and still that to this day. So we do offer loose leaf teas for those who are caffeine intolerant or just don't necessarily like coffee, because there are a lot more health benefits that are representative in the different types of teas, whether it be black, green, or herbal.
Yeah, I mean, I love teas because they can, like you said, you can, if you want to get hyper, if you want to get mellow, if you want to, clear up your sinuses. I mean, there's so many different things that they can do. That said, my mom is Italian. That's where the DiPrima part comes from. And they drink a lot of coffee.
Yeah.
They drink coffee for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So, I mean, I've been raised around it, and I love the smell, but I think I was too naturally hyper to be really a coffee achiever. Let's talk a little bit when we come forward. Let's talk about, the where this is from and, what it means doing business with other nations and how, what social or just business impact that has. Black and Bold is the name of the company. You can find it at an Albertsons or a Target near you. It's 100% Black owned. Want to talk about what that means, too, when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
California is a great place to live and work, but those aren't easy things to do for students also going to college. That's why the state created the Californians for All College Corps, a way for students to build skills and help others while earning up to $10,000 for school. Commit to serve your community and we'll help you pay for college. Spots will fill up fast, so learn more and apply today at www.cacollegecorps.com. That's www.cacollegecorps.com. California is a great place to live and work, but those aren't easy things to do for students also going to college. That's why the state created the Californians for All College Corps, a way for students to build skills and help others while earning up to $10,000 for school. Commit to serve your community and we'll help you pay for college. Spots will fill up fast, so learn more and apply today at www.cacollegecorps.com. That's www.cacollegecorps.com.
KBLA Talk 1580 welcomes the U.S. premiere of the Bob Marley One Love Experience. Open now through April 23rd at Ovation in Hollywood. Enter to win a pair of VIP tickets on the KBLA app or KBLA1580.com. A One Love Experience poster, vinyl record, and souvenir. This has been a community call to action brought to you by KBLA Talk 1580.
Did you know California Black women serve as breadwinners in 80% of Black households, yet only make 55 cents on the dollar to their white male counterparts? Maisha Cairo here with your K-Black Minute News, brought to you by Lendistry. Story courtesy of CaliforniaBlackMedia.org. In honor of Women's History Month, the Black Women's Collective and a host of experts, policymakers, labor leaders, and more gathered to create an economic action plan for Black women. The facts remain that Black women serve as breadwinners in 80% of Black households, yet only make 55 cents on the dollar to their white male counterparts. This wage gap is one of the largest in the nation. California falls short of the national rate at 63 cents on the dollar. I'm Aisha Cairo. That's your K-Black Minute News.
Thanks to our news sponsor, Lendistry. Lendistry is a national Black-led small business lender that is headquartered in Los Angeles. Lendistry helps small business owners access the affordable capital needed to grow. Visit Lendistry, LENDISTRY.com/KBLA today.
Find a righteous rage and don't be afraid to say what you see. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
We are, and we never black down, and apparently neither does Black and Bold Coffee. Rod Johnson is with us. Hey, before we continue the conversation, I want to remind you that Saturday is, day after tomorrow, is Black Women Are Divine, celebrating the life and mourning the death of Breonna Taylor. Breonna Taylor's aunt, Bianca Austin, will be joining us there at the top of the hill, Stalker and La Brea, the Norman O. Houston Park. I will be emceeing free lunch, free giveaways of all kinds, pampering, massages, and all kinds of stuff. It's just such a great event. This is the third annual. It is meant to be a time for Black women to just chill and have some fellowship and some love, performances. It's really a wonderful event. All of it is free. You can get more information at BLM Los Angeles, either the website or on Instagram, Facebook, and we will see you there. It starts at noon. And it will not be raining. They said it won't rain until Sunday. So if the lion casters, as DJ Quick calls them, are right, then we will be having a beautiful day. And if they're wrong, we're going to be out there with umbrellas. Talking with Rod Johnson. So let's look at this side, this interaction. You're importing, exporting. You're not growing coffee in Des Moines. So these coffees come from... they're global imports. Talk to me about the logistics and the business and social impact of that.
Yes, well, a little known fact, coffee was originally discovered in Ethiopia. And many people don't know that, given that the country that is largely responsible for most of the coffee that's in today's market that is consumed comes from Brazil. So to that point, we do have representation of products from all across the globe. We don't have direct relationships with all of those farmers, and so therefore we're able to import by way of having some importer relationships. One of which that we're really proud of is with Kefa Coffee. They are one of, if not the largest, stateside importer of Ethiopian coffee. We're very deliberate of always having an offering that stems from the motherland and the motherland of coffee in particular, and making sure that we have a relationship with someone who comes from that land gives us even more confidence that we have an equitable partnership. This lends itself to our earlier talk around fair trade and making sure that those countries that rely heavily on the exporting of coffee are well taken care of.
Dwight from Compton wanted to know, will you consider working with Black farmers here in the United States to grow coffee?
Another fun fact is that only 2 states in America produce coffee, one being Hawaii, the other being California. In fact, when I lived in California, in the Sacramento area, I caught wind of UC Davis actually having a curriculum that is surrounding the growing and cultivation of coffee. So I do believe that there will be a ballooning of coffee farmers here in America. And I say all that to say, I don't know how many Black coffee farmers in America currently exist. That's just my own ignorance. I haven't done my due diligence to find out more, but the person who posed that question definitely planted a seed, no pun intended, for me to do my research and find out a little bit more.
I didn't even know we grew coffee in Cali. Like that, I never heard of. I thought that there was no coffee on the mainland United States, so I just learned something there as well. When we come forward, I want to know, excuse me, what How we know a good coffee? How do we know the good coffee from the crap? Like coffee connoisseur things. Can you explain? Rod Johnson of Black and Bold Coffee and Tea is my guest. blackandbold.com. You spell out the and, but you don't put the A and the C in the black. It's BLKANDBOLD.com. blackandbold.com. If you want to find out more, or just stop by a store and pick it up. It's KBLA Talk 1580.
We may be LA's newest talk station, but when you're punching above your weight, it's not about whether you can throw a punch. Can you take a punch? We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. K.O. And we don't black down. KBLA Talk 1580 would like to thank all of the businesses that tune into KBLA at work. We celebrate you, your calls to the station, and your overall support. To show our appreciation, we would like to treat your office to lunch for 10, sponsored by John O'Groats family-owned restaurant and johnogroats.us. Open the KBLA Talk 1580 app or log on to KBLA1580.com to submit your office to be selected for our Office of the Week. We know you're just like our staff, putting in many hard, smart working hours per week. We just want to say thank you, and we appreciate you. You and your staff deserve lunch on us. Enter your office to win lunch for 10 and be highlighted on KBLA Talk 1580 as our Office of the Week. Open the KBLA app or log on to KBLA1580.com to enter your office today to become the KBLA Talk 1580 Office of the Week. Sponsored by John O'Groats family-owned restaurant and johnogroats.us. Become the KBLA Talk 1580 Office of the Week. This has been a KBLA Talk 1580 community call to action.
Mom's early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard to take.
And when I left the oven on, we decided together that it was time to see a doctor and make a plan.
Early detection gave us more time to seek out information and support as a family.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. For more information, visit alz.org/time-to-talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Moments like hearing my cat purr good morning mean a lot to me. But after being diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC, which is breast cancer that is spread to other parts of the body, they mean even more. I take Ibrance, palbociclib. Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for adults with HR-positive, HER2-negative MBC as the first hormonal-based therapy. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
And I want to say rest in power to Latasha Harlins, who was murdered on this day in 1991. The community never forgets. She was just 15 years old, and I am saying her name. Been talking with Rod Johnson. He is one of the founders of Black and Bold Coffee and Tea, blackandbold.com. And how do we know a good coffee? How can I be a coffee connoisseur? Is there a right way to drink it? Am I doing it wrong? Am I supposed to hold my pinky up or sniff it first? Or like, what's the sign of a person that knows coffee?
Well, I promise you that there are not that many prerequisites to enjoying coffee. Coffee should be fun at the end of the day, right? You have, similar to wine, what is it, a sommelier? You have Q graders that go in and assess and grade coffee based on its purity and its taste and whether or not it bubbles after certain minutes of brewing. There's really a science behind coffee that I've been privy to over these past 5 years, but that isn't necessary for you to enjoy a cup of coffee. It really, at the basis of it, is one, does it taste good, right? Is it do you enjoy it? And then from there, we can assess whether or not you like more aromatic or fruit-forward coffees, which tend to be lighter roast. So typically, coffee comes in three different distinctions. Think about a steak, well done, rare, and not done, right? That's similar to coffee. You got light roast, medium roast, and dark roast. And light roast coffee means that it wasn't roasted as long as a dark roast, and therefore it retains a lot of its natural attributes. Coffee is a real absorbent plant, and typically you can taste some of those other crops that were grown in close proximity. So if you like fruit-forward coffees, you'll likely tend to gravitate towards light roast. But if you like what traditional coffee tastes like, that has that punch, that real coffee-like flavor, then a dark roast will be more of your vibe. So it's really a matter of preference. There's no right or wrong way, even if you like cold brew. So don't feel as though you gotta that there's this level of pretension that exists with enjoying coffee. As I mentioned, it should be fun.
And by the way, you guys do have cold brew. Speaking of trendy things.
Yes. Gen Z, they are the biggest drivers of that decision. As that population continuously grows, so does their appreciation for cold brew. So we want to make sure that we have an offering for everyone. Last June, in fact, we released 3 cold brew flavors, sweet, unsweet, and a nitro caramel, and that has really resonated with lovers of cold brew. And as this thing starts to warm up, I heard you mention that it's not expected to rain here soon, so that means summer is coming. Cold brew definitely is gonna be that go-to beverage for a lot of people.
Well, Rod Johnson, it's a pleasure to meet you. Congratulations on the astounding success of your company, Black and Bold Coffee and Tea, blackandbold.com. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Tavis Smiley is up next, but you knew that because he comes on every day after I do around here. And I thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget to tap in with us on social media, KBLA 1580. History is now, and we are making it together. Until tomorrow, one love.